I'm nervous because today is the day where we decide if we're buying this property or not.
We spent months looking for a property where we could build our dream mountain homestead.
First step in a whole new life, buddy.
We visited dozens of small towns, living on the road and getting to know some of the most beautiful parts of the country. And when we finally found this wild 2.5 acre piece of land in the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina, we felt like we had hit the jackpot.
Cheers, guys.
To our new home.
But before we can close on the property, the county has to approve our septic application. And if they say no, we don't get to buy this land, which would be completely devastating.
A whole lot is riding on what the county says.
So this week, the county is coming to inspect the property and give us their answer. We've got our excavator, well driller, and the listing broker all waiting to get the green light. And if this doesn't go our way, we lose our dream property for good.
A lot of this is rotting wood.
Whoa!
Ow! So how's it looking, fellas?
Marginal, but it's probably not the best part.
Oh, you have your cow and your baby sister. That's so nice. Oh, that's nice, Isabella. Can mommy have a kissy? Or only Scarlett?
Scarlett.
Only Scarlett can have a kissy. What about mommy? Mwah. Thank you.
Dada is so
Handsome.
yeah, that's right.
We are not going to jump straight into the shed today because tomorrow we finally have the county coming out to approve our septic and well permits. They're gonna be here, they're gonna tell us exactly where we're allowed to put the septic, exactly where we can put the well, but we wanna make sure that they put it where we want them to put it. And so to do that, we have to be prepared. And the first thing we need to do is mark the property lines because we actually want the well to go pretty darn close to one of our property lines. So today we're gonna be doing a amateur survey. Here's the deal. I've got a metal detector. We're gonna use this to try to figure out where the property line is right here. I had the well guy come out the other day, the guy that will actually drill the well. So he wants to do it right here where this blue flag is. The problem is that our property line with our neighbor is somewhere right here. I have the actual survey done on this lot when it was officially created years ago. And there are some iron pins driven into the ground that tell you exactly where this property line is. So I'm gonna try to find those pins going into the brush. Whoa, ow. It's a whole bunch of dead trees. Okay. So you're on the spot roughly?
Yeah.
It's gonna be somewhere about here. Okay, so I think it's right there. Oh no, I think it was a Sprite bottle. Oh, hey, nice one, found it. Okay, so we found the iron pin set. So this is it right here. It's just a big piece of rebar basically. And so from this point, we know the exact compass direction that the property line is on. Only problem is we don't have any tools to allow us to figure out that compass bearing accurately enough. But one thing that this tells me is because the pin is right here, I mean, I am about smack dab in the middle of this ravine, which is what they generally do with property lines. Like the lines are either in the middle of a ravine, like the bottom, or the very top of a ridge. Yeah, so I think generally speaking, that's the property line. If it just continues up the ravine perfectly, that would mean that that flag is not on our property. So let me go ahead and mark this real quick. Oh, look at this big old thing here. Okay, so here's our stake with the ribbon, and then here's the big PVC that I somehow just totally did not see. How funny is that? I'm like, if only I could find some kind of an indication. Okay, let's head back up. If the property line does just follow the like very bottom of this valley, then the line would be right here. The well guy that I spoke to wanted to put the well right here at this flag. So it looks like what we wanted to do would be to put the well not on our property. Now, we actually are in communication with the listing broker for this property because she's in the process of selling this property too. And so I think there's actually a good chance that we could negotiate an easement with our neighbors where they would allow us to put a well like 1 foot on their property, right? I mean, it's so close. Hopefully we can strike a deal with them tomorrow. So exciting day. Before we get into that though, let's do the one other thing we gotta do in preparation for tomorrow. So what we want to happen tomorrow is we want the county to let us put the leach field down here, like down the hill where we cleared out the other day. And we basically want them to allow us to put the tank like here. So this is all gonna be front yard. The house is actually gonna go that way where the ridge still is. So we're gonna excavate a lot of that ridge, and that's where we're gonna put the house, or at least a lot of the house. What we're supposed to do before the county comes is mark the corners of where we wanna build the house. But honestly, like, we have no real idea until we excavate that. And we haven't even landed on a design, right? So what we gotta do is we gotta mark the corners of like what we want the house to be able to be. So realistically, I mean, I'm just gonna eyeball this, I think. Something like here, and then something like real close to where the shed is. Okay, cool. Isabella Poopy Butt.
Dada poopy butt.
No.
Yeah, Dada's a poopy butt.
Isabella Poopy Butt.
And Mama poopy
Mama's
butt.
not
No.
a poopy butt.
Isabella Poopy Butt.
Are you putting on mom's glasses?
Very nice. Isabella, you look like a librarian.
Mama poopy.
Mama's not a poopy.
Isabella Poopy. Wow, there's not a lot of traffic here, but when there is, it's elk traffic.
I want to take a quick second to tell you about the sponsor of today's episode, Novium. They make the coolest pen that I have ever owned. Novium creates unique, innovative, high-end hover pens that aim to inspire curiosity and creativity. This Interstellar Edition hover pen was named one of the best inventions of 2022 by Time. And they come in beautiful packaging, which makes them great presents. And I just love how it floats like this on my desk. It really adds to the aesthetic value of my workspace. And it rests at a 23.5 degree angle, which is the exact same angle as the axial tilt of the Earth. Hover pens aren't just stylish, they're refillable and provide an unmatched writing experience. These pens come in several different colors, and they've also got the Hover Pen Future, which you should definitely check out as well. And with Father's Day just around the corner, I can guarantee you that the dads in your life would love this pen as a gift. So head over to noviumdesign.com and use code Atticus to get 15% off, but that's only in the next 48 hours, so definitely click the link in the description below, scan this QR. After 48 hours, you still can get a 10% discount. And international shipping is free to most countries. Okay, today is the big day. We've got the county coming out to approve our septic and well permits. And we've also got the well driller, Jeff Hyde. And then we've also got our excavator, Cody Ellis. We've got the listing broker coming. It's gonna be a big day. And honestly, I'm nervous because this is the reason why we haven't bought this property already. Like, today is the day where we decide if we're buying this property or not. A whole lot is riding on what the county says, what happens with this perk test. So yeah, big day, very excited, feeling optimistic, feeling a little bit nervous. So the first to arrive were Jeff, our well driller, and Lori, the listing broker.
Just to reiterate, so the idea has been floated around that if we did do the well here, one option would be to share the well, but the issue would be it probably won't produce enough water.
Yeah, you got to make sure it's going to produce enough because over by my parents, we went 750 feet and we're only getting half
a gallon.
Yeah, that was one thing I was, thinking about discussing with you today, Jeff, is just what the alternative locations would be for a well.
You're gonna move some more dirt out there, right?
A lot. Yeah, so a lot of this ridge is gonna get cut out. A lot of it's gonna go lower on the ridge, and then a lot of it's gonna go on the other side over there.
Right.
It's a little bit less steep over there. And I guess that's something we could kind of talk about after we speak with the neighbors about
and the health department.
And the health department.
Lori gave the owners of the neighboring property a quick call to discuss the possibility of sharing a well or just granting us an easement to drill our well slightly on their property.
He would prefer not to share the well just because it'll be cleaner down the line as far as that goes, and he's absolutely fine with the easement.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Well, that's great news.
Next, Cody, our excavator, showed up, as well as the guys from the county whose job it was to decide whether our septic and well permits would be approved. And after a bit of discussion about the exact placement of the well, Cody had the idea that we could use some of the dirt from our excavation to build up an earthen pad near the driveway on our property specifically for the well.
We had mentioned that a lot of this is like rotting wood, so I don't know if like
We'll dig it or push it down.
we dig it and then fill it and then do the... Sure. I like it. It's not complicated. Off the driveway. Good idea, Cody. Way to be the ringer.
You knew how many bad ideas I had. You can build it.
Yeah. Whoever said you gotta wait to buy a property to start building?
When you said shed, I thought it was going to be a metal thing. I'm like, don't worry, if it doesn't work out, we'll move it.
Yeah. Yeah, we got little steps, you know? Head on down. I mean, I'll be very curious to see what they think of this area. And so this would be kind of the proposed leach field down here. Now, I wasn't entirely sure how long the legs would be and everything, but I tried to clear enough for you to get a good idea.
It's on the nose here, kind of though, so it's probably not the best spot.
We'll start on this nose. It looks a little more appealing down here to us, but we'll just see what the probes tell us and go from there.
Do you mind if I ask what looks good about that area? I'm just curious.
I'm looking at the nose and the cuts. There's a lot of rock, okay, and typically that's the case. On the nose, there's rock, and that's the reason the nose is still there.
Yeah.
When you get on a side slope and there's a slight swell, like a more lineal slope, not just the rounded nose, then you tend to collect soils in the swells in those lineal slopes
Gotcha.
off the nose.
Probably
Yeah.
9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
it's going to be shallow soils on the nose, and you're going to have better soils like
Yeah.
in those areas.
That makes sense. So features that have resisted erosion
Right.
are going to be less appealing, basically. Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Okay. Thanks for coming out, man. Appreciate it.
So after probing around the proposed leach field area, the county guys quickly determined that it would not be suitable for a leach field. They said it was just too rocky and the soil was too thin. I was completely devastated, and my heart started to race as they walked further and further down the hill towards the other end of the property. And the risk of having our septic permit denied now felt like it could be a very real possibility.
That soil sampler there, how does that work?
We just look at the soil layers. Essentially, as you go down, you usually got like the leaf layer, the organic layer we call it, usually a couple inches thick. You've got a loam layer that's kind of made from the leaves decaying over time. It's usually 2 or 3 inches thick, maybe deeper. And then you go into the soil layer. Soil is basically composed of 3 different sizes of soil: sand, silt, and clays. That helps us determine what our long-term acceptance rate's going to be, because each type of soil in North Carolina is given an application rate as far as how much sewage that it will accept per square foot per day.
And you can tell the different kinds of soil and the composition visually.
All right, so we more or less got through the organic layer. It was a very thin layer. Now this is more of a sandy clay loam to a clay loam type soil. You can see it's more orange. Breaks down into those little pads. We call them pads. Those smaller blocks. That's what you want.
And so clay is an acceptable
Clay
substrate?
is actually very good for treating sewage. The more clay it is, of course, the slower the flow rate, and it just takes more drain field. It treats sewage very well. Retention time in the soil is very important for the bacteria, for the good bugs.
Oh, interesting. So you want the water or the sewage to stay there for a while.
That's it.
So how's it looking, fellas?
Well, we think it's going to be okay. Plus it's a lineal slope, it's going to be easy for them to get in and get some longer lines. And they could come up probably from the bottom with their equipment.
And is this grade okay for machines to come in?
Marginal? Yeah, somebody that knows what they're doing can probably dig on this.
Yeah, gotcha.
The lines that you'll be required to have is 3 bedrooms, you said, right?
Correct.
It'll be 3 100-foot lines, and probably the top line is going to be somewhere. We're going to work below that biggest pine out there.
So 100-foot line here, and then another one about where I am, and then one more. Well, thank you so much for walking me through that. I'll get out of your hair now.
You're okay. You're fine.
Okay, well, good news. They said that it looks good down there, that we can get machines in there. You know, the soil is good for a normal, conventional system, so looking good. Oh man, that is such good news. So we have been approved for our septic system. We've been approved for our well. It all looks really good. Ironically, the septic system is not going to be installed in the area that I spent like a couple days clearing out. Good news is it's going to be way down the hill in an area that we're not going to use at all. And we can definitely get machines in there and everything, which is great. And so this area that we cleared out will actually be where we put a lot of the fill when we excavate the property. So anyway, it all worked out really well, and we're going to be pulling the trigger on this property. So we should be hopefully closing in the next week or so, which is so exciting. So I just can't be happier. I'm excited to own this property. I'm excited to get to work on it and just make it ours. So very good news, man. Okay, buddy.
Okay, hold on. I could just watch my glasses. I can't see.
It's good news.
Oh, dang it, I can't see.
Is just the mere sight of me steaming up your glasses.
Yeah, it is.
So we are approved for our septic.
Nice.
So we're gonna buy the property.
All right, so that's home.
It's happening.
Cool.
We did it, buddy.
Oh, nice. Good job.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that all morning. I was like, what if
Yeah, that
after
would be
all
bad.
this, we can't have a septic tank there?
That would be so bad. I know. I was thinking that this morning. I was
Yeah.
like, there is a possibility that none of this goes
Right.
down.
I was like, just our luck. Okay.
Oh, so are you so excited too?
You want to celebrate also?
Oh, so exciting,
You
my
know that
man.
place we've been calling home for like a couple weeks now? Well, it's actually
It's
home
actually
now.
gonna be our home.
Whoa!
Whoa! Isabella.